Hello friends, I'm Dragonate and welcome to another Dragonate Reading Your Answers video. Last week I asked you, what will you never forget? You guys answered and I'll be reading your answers in this video, sorry. And before we continue, your question for this week is going to be, what is your favorite meme? Do you have a favorite meme? Some people may not even know what a meme is, but you tell me what your favorite meme is, and I will read your answers in next week's video. So let's get into it. Let's see what you guys will never forget. Juice says, I'll never forget the first time I learned that everything I know and loved would die one day. It was around when I was 12. I lost my grandma to a heart attack and my grandpa on a different side of the family to a heart surgery in the span of 3 months. And I'm really sorry for your loss. I know that that's probably many years ago now, but it's still hard sometimes, even years later. My grandma passed away 8 years ago, and still sometimes I think of that. Funny Fluffy says, I would like to never forget the things I want to achieve, maybe, which makes perfect sense. And I hope you don't forget those. DLT Dev says, I'm not going to forget nothing. I'm that clever. That is perfect. You will definitely not forget nothing. Unless maybe you're old and gray. Maybe at that point you might end up. My mom says lots of things I won't forget, but of course, first and foremost, most of all, I will never forget you and how much you do for me. Thank you, and you're welcome. And also how much my God loves me. Mitsu says, I don't know, I feel like I will forget everything sooner or later. 2 of my 4 living grandparents have bad memory issues, and they seem to forget everything. Maybe I'll forget everything when I'm old and gray. It will be around then. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. And XX Skooma XX says, I will never forget Skyrim. Skyrim is really hard to forget. There's actually, if I smell, I have one of my favorite scented candles is eucalyptus mint, and every time I smell that, it just smells like winter, and for some reason it makes me think of Skyrim. But I think that could be because when I used to play Skyrim on my Xbox all the time a few years back, I would pretty much always have a candle lit. So I would have this mini eucalyptus mint candle lit while I was playing, just for fun. I would be playing most of the time at night, so it was kind of nice to have that candle lit for, a light and all that. So yeah. As for myself, there are many things I won't forget. It feels sometimes like I remember more negative things. For example, I remember a fight that a friend and I had a long time ago that didn't even matter, and for a day after him saying, you're dead to me, I'll never talk to you again kind of thing, after a day he was texting me saying, hey, what's up? And that was the first kind of like big thing that him and I have ever had between each other. So, and then when he's texting me, I'm like, don't you remember saying this? And he goes, no, I didn't say that. So he completely forgot about the incident entirely anyway. So I guess it's hard for me to pick one thing, and this is my fault this time, because I do seem to remember a lot of things. I forget a lot of things too. I definitely forget a lot of things too. I say in the description of the last video that I have an elephant's memory. It's a joke, because I don't, but I do remember lots. How about this? Back when I was in high school, grade 11, I believe, we all had to go and pick out a book from the library, right? We had to pick out a book that we had to read and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know what book I want to read because I find it hard to like sit and read for any length of time anyway. So I'm trying, if I'm not interested in what I'm reading, it's going to be even worse. So it took me about like 30 or 40 minutes in the library, and kind of just before we had to leave, I ended up finding this one book that was titled Assassins. And I'm like, oh, this one sounds interesting, because I'd been playing Assassin's Creed. So I picked out that one and took it and started reading it. And then I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. I found out that book was part of the Left Behind series. And it got me really, really interested in what that all means. If you don't know what Left Behind is all about, Left Behind is kind of telling the story of what happens from the book of Revelation in the Bible. So when that all starts happening after the rapture and that kind of thing, that's kind of where Left Behind takes place. And Assassins was kind of one more closer to the end, middle end and middle kind of thing, and it was a book that I actually ended up really, really enjoying, and I kind of want to finish the entire rest of the Left Behind series. But yeah, that's definitely something I will never forget. That was something that made me think a lot more about about what Revelation meant. Because when you read a story like that as a child, and it's not super easy to, I guess, interpret or to understand as a child, to understand all the themes and what the different imagery and stuff means in it. So that book kind of helped me understand it a little more and make me more interested in it. So yeah, that's mine. That's it for this video, though. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget your question for this week, which was, what is your favorite meme? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I'll read them next week. And I'll see you again very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week. Bye-bye, and God bless.